Hey guys, Kitchen Table Magician here. Welcome to another episode of Six Pack of MTG. We're going to bust open 6 packs of Magic to reveal a sealed card pool, and then we're going to build a deck out of that as best we can. So, funny thing happened. I was going to do Dominaria again this week, and I went to my LGS, and they were completely sold out of Dominaria, and said that the distributors were sold out, and that WotC is trying to accommodate and scramble to make a reprint. So I don't know if anybody else has run into this, but I got to tell you, the last time I went to an LGS, actually I didn't have them back then, but the last time I went to the store to buy Magic cards and they did not have them for me was all the way back, probably like maybe Alliances. I think I ran into that, but definitely like revised editions. So needless to say, my jaw dropped onto the counter. I could not believe that an LGS was actually sold out of a standard Magic product. That is unbelievable. So anyway, they said they'd be getting some more in, but they weren't quite sure when. So instead of Dominaria, we are going to be breaking open Rivals of Ixalan and doing a sealed Rivals card build. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this. So what I like to do is usually evaluate the first pack as though it were a draft. So we'll just go through this real quick. In this format for Rivals, this was actually a pretty decent card, Moment of Triumph. That was a nice combat trick. Not something first pickable ever, but definitely a little later on if you're looking to round out your deck. Negate is more of a sideboard card. The Raptor is chaff for later on if you just need a filler. The Fathom Fleet Border, this is pretty tribal. I don't generally tend to take this very early either. The Frillback is more filler for later, although it's a little more efficient than the Raptor. The Raptor is 3-4 for 4. This is 4-2 for 3, so it's a little better, but still not first pickable. Okay, this is pretty good. Moment of Craving is a really good card in this format. So far out of this pack, my pick would be Moment of Craving, unless something else better comes along. Luminous Bonds, not so much. Well, I don't know. This is fair, too. I could put that there. Sworn Guardian, no. 1-3 for 2 is nothing. Okay, Impale is just the best card in the pack so far. This is first pick unless something else better comes along. This is premium removal, and we haven't seen a bomb or anything like that yet. Bombard deals 4 damage to a creature. Nope, the Impale is just better. Imperial Ceratops, a 3-5 for 5 that has a little upside. The Impale is still just better. We just are going to have to pull a bomb now to beat that Impale, and I don't see it here. So it looks like my first pick, if I was drafting this format or drafting this pack, I would definitely take the Impale. This one is too tribal. The rare is too tribal. All right, so that's our first pack. Impale would be my pick 1 out of that. It wasn't a very strong pack. Okay, so let's just go ahead and open the other 5 packs a lot quicker, and we'll just kind of get a taste of the card pool a little bit as we do that. And then we will... another Moment of Craving. Black is looking strong here. And then we will do the deck build here. Jungle Creeper, Aquatic Incursion, Swordproof, and a Foily Riverwise Augur. So the rare is the Wayward Swordtooth. Ascend, 5-5 for 3. You may play additional lands on your turns, and it can't attack or block unless you have the City's Blessing. Well, it's not hard to get the City's Blessing. We'll see if we can't bust that. That seems like a pretty good card. All right. Pack number 3. So what we're going to be opening is 4 packs of Rivals, and then 2 packs of just regular Ixalan, because that is how it would be done at a sealed event. And then that will be our card pool for the build. Occupation Unicorn. Stormfleet Sprinter can't be blocked. It's 2-2 with haste. I saw some good black. Oreskha's Azor's Gateway. Draw a card, exile a card from your hand, and transform it into X mana. Wow, that's a lot of mana. Alright, well, I'm not seeing any obvious build right now, but I did see a lot of really good black removal, and so I'm probably going to look at black first, but I'm not seeing a super obvious build at the moment. I am seeing a lot of dinosaurs, so maybe we can get a dinosaur payoff. We'll see here. But overall, my packs have been, so-so. Oh, I got a deck I can put that in. Curious Obsession. Oh, look at this! Okay, well, I guess I know what I want to try and play with. We have got a Planeswalker, ladies and gentlemen. Angrath the Flame Chained. Sweet. Each opponent discards a card, lose to... Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to definitely try and play with that, right? You have to try and play with that. That's a bomb. And we already know we have a lot of black that's pretty solid as far as board control and removal, so I think one of our colors is definitely going to be black. Wow. That is so cool. Hijack, Contract Killing, Paladin, Dinosaur Stampede, Emissary. This is actually fair. Shapers, I have a deck for this. Ashes of the Abhorrent. Players can't cast spells from their graveyards. Okay, so this is Graveyard Hate. Probably not playable in a sealed pool. Alright, last pack. Rivals of Ixalan. I can't believe we pulled a Planeswalker. That is so cool. You can tell I love busting Planeswalkers when I open a pack of cards. That is so much fun. What better is there to open than maybe a really bomby like foil rare or foil mythic? Other than Planeswalkers are the best thing to open. So I always enjoy that. Alright. This guy is really good. This guy will play well. I'm just feeling a black-red deck now after having opened that. Flash, when this enters the battlefield, with a +1/+1 counter for each creature that died this turn. That seems fair. Alright, so I think I'm going to try and do a black-red build. Anyway, that's the packs in a nutshell, and we'll evaluate this card pool and see what we can do with it. Alright, so I've had time to sort these out. What I do is I sort them out by color, and then I kind of go through a little bit, evaluate, and I rank each of these colors in what I feel is the weakest color to the strongest color, and that's how we'll review this card pool. I'm going to start with artifacts. I did not get any lands in this card pool, so we're just going to jump right into some artifacts. I got 3 artifacts, starting with Azor's Gateway, which is going to be playable in anything that we do. This is just card advantage straight up, doesn't matter what you're playing, so this is for sure going to go into whatever we build. And then I have 2 Gleaming Barriers, which also are playable. They're 0/4, they dirtle up the board. So if we get into I find the Rivals of Ixalan format to be fairly aggressive, so if I find that my mana curve is a little higher than I would like, then I would probably put these in to dirtle up the board and help stall things out. But I wouldn't play these in an aggressive deck, but they are playable. Alright, so on to green. As I was going through, this was kind of a little bit hard to rank between green and red as far as which I thought was the weaker color, but ultimately I think green is the weakest color in this pool. Green has 2 bombs, what I consider to be bombs in this format, with one with the Wayward Swordtooth, which takes a little while to get turned on, unless you can go wide with some tokens. And then the Colossal Dreadmaw, which for 6 mana is going to take a little while to get there. Other than that, green has a lot of mid-range creatures that are average. It's got some Merfolk Tribal, and a little bit of mana fixing, and then a couple of fog effects. Without any real removal or interaction or anything like that, I think green overall in this card pool is probably the weakest color, but doesn't mean it's unplayable. I see some things in there that have some synergy and might work well with some other colors in this pool, so we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, the next weakest color in this pool I thought was red. It has 1 bomb, and then it has 2 hijacks, which I think if you're playing with multiple hijacks and enough other removal, that can be a viable strategy. So red again has some playable, and then it's got a bombard, and that's all it's got for removal. And then the rest of red is more mid-rangey at best, except for the Firebrand here. Is more mid-rangey, not real aggressive. I don't find this to be a super aggressive creature. I would want it to be a 2/1 for 2. Other than that, everything's kind of mid-rangey and sideboardy at best. So I found red. I think red is probably my next weakest color. I think it's a toss-up between green and red, which of those two is the weakest colors. But there is playable stuff in both colors that could support other things that's going on in this card pool. So then we'll get to blue. Blue has this nice 3/2 flying with hexproof, and it's got a water knot. So those are the 2 premium cards in blue. So it's a nice piece of removal and a flyer that's a little harder to deal with. It's got some Merfolk. It's got 3 here, and then some decent mid-rangey pirates. It's also got some mana fixing in Sailor of Means, so we'll keep that in mind, I think. Another Merfolk, more Merfolk, and then 2 Aquatic Incursions, which creates a couple of Merfolks and goes wide, and then makes Merfolks unblockable. And I have a Curious Obsession, so I see some potential synergy here. maybe I can take advantage of Curious Obsession and unblockable merfolks. And then there's some negates. So it's not a bad mix, but it's not the best. So I think the next best color then is white. White's got 2 luminous bonds for removal. It's got some decent flyers here, 2/5 flyers at the top of the mana curve, and potentially a 3/3 flyer, and those would play well with the dinosaurs. And other than that, it's got a lot of mid-rangey, can go wide with some vampire stuff. It's got a way to get a vampire, and then some more go wide, and then some combat tricks, and then the rest of this, Ashes of a Burnt, I think is sideboardy at best. So I think that by far, my best color in this card pool is black, and the reason for that is I've got this nice 4/4 flying, and then I have got removal like crazy in a Gruesome Fate, or no, not in 2 Moment of Cravings and an Impale, but then I also have, oh, I didn't sort this very well, a Contract Killing, and I have a Skullduggery. So green has got a lot of removal and interaction right at the top, and a nice bomb to go with it. So I'm probably going to be playing, I'm sorry, black. So I'm going to be playing black. This I know. No matter what I do, black is going to be my removal package. I've got a lot of other vampires in here, and then a few other things at the bottom end. All right, and then multicolors. Remember we pulled the Minotaur. So I know I want to play with this, and so I'm probably going to either play with green or blue, because either of those colors can splash for this. I just didn't see enough in red that I think red is a good choice to main deck, but I could certainly splash into this. I also have a Stormfleet Sprinter, which is a 2/2 unblockable with haste, a Jungle Creeper, and a Shapers of Nature. So that's the card pool. I'm looking forward to trying to piece this together. I don't see a real obvious build other than I know I'm going to be playing black. Okay, so I've had time to build some decks and play around with this card pool. And again, like I said, not a real obvious build, but I think this is the strongest, but I'm going to show you 2 different builds with this card pool because I'm really having a hard time deciding which one is actually better. I think this is the strongest, and this is black and white vampire tribal with a couple of dinosaurs at the top end to just back it up. It has a seriously good removal package with 2 Moment of Crazing, an Impale, 2 Luminous Bonds, and a Skullduggery, which doubles as a removal and a combat trick, either or. So that is some seriously good removal down here. I have a couple of really good support cards / card advantage. I have an Emissary of the Sunrise, and of course Azor's Gateway, which is just going to let us peel through the deck. And then I've got Vampire Tribal all day long. I've got all the little dirtly 2/2s, the Paladins, the Soldiers. I've got a Queen's Commission, which lets me create a couple tokens. I have a Forerunner, which lets me go get a Vampire. Voracious Vampire, which is a nice evasive menace. Paladin of the Bloodstain gives me a nice body plus a vampire token, a nice flying and Revenant, and then of course at the top end we have the Deathless Ancient. So I'm going to be able to go a little bit wide with this thing and hopefully recur the Deathless Agent a time or two if I need to. And then since I'm going a little bit wide, I'm going to play a little bit some combat trick and creature pumping package. So I have a Pride of Conquerors, a Moment of Triumph, and a Squire's Devotion, which, by the way, also creates another vampire token. And then at the top end, to just dirtle things up, is a pair of flying dinosaurs. So that is a black-white vampire tribal build that I was able to pull out of this thing. I'd be playing these 23 cards, and then I would have, looks like 7 plains and the rest in swamps. So that's one build, and I think it's probably the best build. But I want to show you another build that I came up with that I also think is very solid, and so I'm having a hard time deciding which way to go. Okay, so for the second build that I'm debating on with this card pool, it'd be black and blue, but it would splash the Planeswalker and splash a blue-red unblockable 2/2 with haste. So let's get into this one a little bit. Again, down here I have the really solid removal package, primarily in black, but I also would have a Water Knot to go in here. And then some utility cards. I've got the Curious Obsession, which I think I can make use of. It allows you to draw extra cards, but maybe I'd be trying to force that too hard. Because I also do have Azor's Gateway, which is, again, going to pilfer through my deck. But if I can get Curious Obsession on a flyer or that 2/2 unblockable, that's going to be extra card draw as well. I also have 2 Sailors of Means, and the reason I'm playing these is to try and splash the Stormfleet Sprinter and Angroth the Flame Chain. That's that Planeswalker. I do not have any other way to fix mana in this card pool, except for the 2 Gleaming Barriers, which I did not put in this mix. So I kept all the black vampires because Deathless Agent is just way too good to not run all your vampires and try to keep recurring the Deathless Agent. So all the black vampires are still here. I have a Merfolk package because I have 2 Shaper Apprentices. I wanted to run as many other Merfolk as I could. And so I have some solid ones with the Water Trap Weaver, the Riverwise Augur, and the Sworn Guardian. And then up here at the top end, I've got a Soul of Rapids, which is a flying with hexproof. I've got the Siren Reaver, which hopefully will play for 3 mana instead of 4 most of the time because I can reduce its cost if I attack. And it's a nice 3/2 flyer. And then I've got the 2/2 unblockable. So again, I'm hoping to put the Curious Obsession on some of these. And then, of course, at the very top end, I have Angroth. Now, I didn't see anything else in red worth splashing outside of maybe that 5/5 Trampling Dinosaur, but I have enough other bombs in this deck that I didn't feel the need to put that in. So this is the other potential build. I need help deciding on which way to go. So your input would be appreciated. And I will post my next video with votes. Okay. Okay, well, as always, thanks for watching. And if you like this video, want to see more of this content, then thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.